I can't believe singers versus musicians is still clickbait in 2026, but here we are. If you are on Jazzstagram, undoubtedly you have seen the back and forth over the past couple of weeks about what expectations singers should have from musicians, what expectations musicians should have of singers. I just wanted to weigh in on all of this as someone who has accompanied singers for close to 25 years, coached singers at the college level, accompanied myself as a vocalist. I've done the piano bar thing, and just being a working, gigging musician for 25 years. So all the advice I'm going to give in this video can be summed up thusly. Singers, get your book together. Musicians, learn the melody. Vocalists, as a piano player, please get your book in order. What do I mean by that? Learn what key you perform your repertoire in. Make a list of all the tonalities you sing your repertoire in. If you're not super musically trained, get together with a pianist or a guitarist, make a deal with them, pay them for their time, trade services, whatever you have to do, but make a definitive list of all the keys you sing all your repertoire in. Even just knowing that you sing it a tone up or a tone down from the most common recording of the tune, that helps, but not knowing at all what register you sing the tune in creates a lot of wasted time on the bandstand. For example, this scenario, you're on a wedding gig, one of the guests requests a song, you and your accompanists both happen to know it, but it wasn't on the set list, but you don't know what key you sing it in. And so it is a skill that a musician needs to have to be able to find the key of the singer. If the singer just starts singing whatever tune in their comfortable register, I should be able to find it relatively quickly. It's still not as quick as if I had the name of the tonality on a list in front of me, or if the singer could just call, let's do this tune in this key. That is so much quicker than even the best, most perfect pitch accompanist trying to chase down the key of a singer. Download your lyrics ahead of time. I'm not going to vibe singers for having an iPad in front of them. I think it's better if you've memorized the lyrics. I think it's better if the musicians have memorized the lyrics, because that way the accompanist who knows the lyrics can either give the singer the line or jump to wherever the singer has jumped to in the form. And I get it, as someone who's done piano bar stuff on and off, I don't do it enough to have memorized all the lyrics of the tunes I like to play and sing. But I have them in a PDF file that is offline. I don't need to be online to Google my lyrics. I have them in a PDF file that lives on my iPad, that lives on Fourscore. My iPad's in airplane mode. I don't need to depend on the Wi-Fi. I don't need to depend on my hotspot. For a lot of those tunes, I don't even need the entire set of lyrics. It's just to be able to check what's the first line of this verse. And then once I'm in the verse, I'm good. Get your book in order. Get your book into a format that lives offline and does not require the internet. The term jazz singer is a loaded phrase, and it carries multiple different sets of expectations. And I think that's where the conflict between musicians and singers can arise, because if a musician expects someone who calls themselves a jazz singer to improvise and scat like Ella Fitzgerald, and that singer's coming at it from a more song-based definition of jazz singer, whether that's Nora Jones or Jane Monheit or Lao Fei or whoever it is, someone who knows a bunch of repertoire but doesn't scat, the expectations need to be clear from the outset. The type of singer that you are needs to be clear to your accompanist from the outset. The other thing that often happens is in the context of jam sessions. Now, jam sessions is also a term with a lot of different definitions that often don't belong together. So And this is where musicians of all genres can often get frustrated with singers of all genres, because in my estimation, there's three different types of jam sessions. There are repertoire-based jam sessions where you are culling from the standards of that genre, whether it's jazz, R&B, Latin music, Brazilian music, whatever it is. There is a repertoire that is expected that everyone who shows up at that jam will know. And the biggest issue that I run into in jam sessions with amateur vocalists is that they are not used to tracking the form through long improvisations. They're cool if it's a chorus or two by one soloist, like the record that they know, but once it's multiple soloists taking multiple choruses, even for amateur musicians, it's easy to lose the form. It's easy to lose your focus. It's easy to lose track of the form. That is the biggest challenge in the music we call jazz, which is improvising freely but over a closed form. And if you're not used to doing that, if you're not used to listening to that, if you're not used to following that, then for sure you're at risk of coming in too early, coming in too late, cutting off a soloist, whatever it is. That's the first type of jam session, the repertoire-based jam session. The second type of jam session is a fully improvised jam session where you're still trying to create songs in real time. This was pioneered in Montreal by a collective called Calmunity. There are jam sessions in town like Le Cypher and Grove that also follow in those footsteps, where the band is not there merely to be a live track for a bunch of different rappers and singers. We are trying to create cohesive songs in real time. And that means the singers, vocalists, poets, rappers need to keep eyes on the band. If a band member feels like the best musical decision is a solo, the singers, vocalists need to be open to that and know how to communicate in their body language, whether they're going in for a verse, coming out of their verse, coming out of the chorus, whatever it is. There's a real encyclopedia of physical communication and body language that Calmunity in our workshops, when we used to give workshops, really instilled in singers. And if you as vocalists can learn that the microphone is sacred and only step in front of the microphone when you have something to deliver or say or sing, and then when you're done, you step back and let your colleagues, whether it's other singers, other rappers, the other musicians on stage, let them step forward, either literally or figuratively. So that's the second type of jam session, the improvised song jam session. And then the third type of jam session is the fully open jam. It's very democratic. It's an opportunity for people to get their hours in on their instruments at all skill levels. It's an opportunity for people to try different instruments that they don't have access to. It's there isn't the expectation to create a cohesive piece of music. It's just for everybody to have fun, for everybody to have a go on something that inspires them. Don't confuse the three. I've hosted repertoire-based jam sessions, and I've had people come up to me that like to sing or like to play a certain instrument in their home, but they're not familiar with the type of repertoire that we're drawing from, and they're not super experienced with playing with other people. And I just very, very kindly tell them that this jam session is not the space for you. Go to a different type of jam session. The other element of this that I think everyone in the equation needs to be aware of is if there's a house set, if the jam is open to the public, and there's a house band that gives a house set, The jam session is part of the show. There might be a ticket buying public. There's hopefully a ticket buying public that are not just your fellow musicians. They came out to listen to a jazz night or an R&B night or a Latin night, whatever it is. And once the jam starts, as democratic as we try to keep it as hosts, I'm also aware that the jam is the second set of the show. So the level needs to stay at a relatively high level so that the people who paid their ticket money don't feel like they're watching endless train wrecks. It has to be stylistically consistent. If people are coming to a jazz jam, it's kind of bizarre if we swerve into full-on salsa or full-on neo-soul, full-on hip-hop. It can work if the band is capable of kind of bridging the gap between all those genres, because all those genres are connected anyway. That's a tangent. But really, if the public came out expecting a jazz jam session, that's what they want to hear. That's what they want to experience. And so that, as the jammers and as the hosts of the jam, that is what we endeavor to deliver. Okay, for my fellow musicians, learn the melodies of the songs. I have talked about this so much on my channel, and this is something I have not heard or seen in all these Instagram back and forths about singers and musicians and jam session etiquette and whatever. Learn the melody of the tune, because it is the easiest way to check your transposition. Yes, you should be at ease with transposing tunes in all 12 keys. Absolutely. Other instrumentalists play tunes in the non-standard keys. The original versions, going back to the original musical theater piece or the original film or whatever, is often not in the key that jazz musicians have adopted that tune into. Singer-focused genres, whether it's bolero or bossa nova, Brazilian music, or, show tune, Great American Songbook jazz, there's multiple standard keys. There's multiple common keys. Those tunes have been played in every key imaginable at this point, I would say. So yes, you need to be facile and able to play not just the tunes, but the language in all 12 keys. The easiest way to check your transposition is if you know the melody. You might be shaky on the chords, but if you can sing the melody in the key that has been called, you will correct your course much faster. And the biggest pitfall of jazz education, especially jazz education post iReal. Yes, I'm hating on iReal again, take a shot. A tune is not just a set of chords. A tune is not just a set of chords. It's the lyric, it's the melody, it's the form, it's the punches, the arrangement. Are you playing Roberta Flack's version of Feel Like Making Love? Are you playing D'Angelo's version of Feel Like Making Love? They're different. They're different and they require different things. Musicians also have to understand that the singer becomes the de facto band leader of the tune or of the gig. Even if you, the piano player, are the one who got the contract and dealt with the client the whole way, the minute you show up with a vocalist, the vocalist is the face of the band. The vocalist is the one who everyone is going to talk to. The vocalist becomes the de facto band leader, and your ego needs to step down. And our job as accompanists is to make the singer sound good at all costs. If the singer sounds great, the band's going to sound great. If the singer is comfortable, the band is going to sound great. If the singer is not comfortable, it doesn't matter the level of their accompanists. It doesn't matter who's in the band. It doesn't matter how much you shred in your solo between when the singer's in. All that matters to the public, really, is the singer. And if the singer feels comfortable and you can support the singer in good times and in bad, the gig's going to sound great. You'll get hired again. Everyone's going to have a good time. Support the singer. Support the song. All right, that's been my rant for the week. Let's all go listen to some Ella, some Stevie Wonder, some Donny Hathaway, some Carmen McRae, Nina Simone, Roberta Flack, D'Angelo, whoever your favorite singer is. And often, your favorite singers played instruments too. That's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. My name's David Rishpan. I'll see you in the next one.